Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harv's World for episode 7 of Ischia Farm. It's a big day in Italy, a really big day, a lot going on. We have got work to do like crazy. First, though, I'd like to welcome Ethan, Teltaps, Luis, Fernando Abdallah, Jake Bish, and Scooter Crawford to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate you being here, as with everyone. And all of the anonymous subscribers, I always like to point them out because there are far more anonymous subscribers than there are actual names. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you being here, as I said. And I really, really hope you're enjoying the content. Feel free to drop me a line in the comments down below. I'll be happy to respond and answer any questions you might have or just hear what's on your mind. So, as I said, we've got a big day here in Ischia, a lot going on, and the biggest is this one. We finally got our grapes. Look at that. Grapes on the vine, ready to harvest. It's going to be a big grape harvest day, but we've got other work we got to get done today. A lot of work. As you can see, I've got my grape planters set up here, ready to go. And if you recall, at the end of the last episode, I was working on that new field edition, field 22, 23, and 24. And, well, I got those all set up, ready to go. They're fully fertilized, the whole 9 yards. I guess got to get a little closer. There we go. Yeah, got those all ready to go, so we need to get some grapes planting. Really, really want to get those put in place today so they can start growing. But the big deal, the biggest deal of them all, is finally being able to harvest some grapes. I'm going to run all of this equipment down to field 22, because if you'll recall, it's been such a long time, I don't know if you will, but planting grapes took the better part of the day on this field. Now, the merged fields down here, they are not quite as big. I think there's about a 5-acre difference, actually. But it's still going to take a very long time, and I'm going to try to put the grapes in just a little bit closer to each other. Utilize a little bit more field space. We'll see how that plays out, but I think it should do okay for us. I really do. Okay, here we are at our newly merged fields. I'm going to shut down this equipment. I'm going to use the Deutz-Fahr for just a little bit, because I kind of want to test something out today. We might have an opportunity to... Alright, you can take off, buddy. Might have an opportunity to show you a little bit more of something in relation to course play. And because we've got these 3 fields all merged together now, I'm kind of curious to find out whether course play recognizes them as one big field, and if they don't, then I will have an opportunity to show you what we can do to rectify that. So if I open course play, and I'm planting and seeding, and we're going to look at course generation. Now you can see we're down here in this area. I'm going to start on field 20. It's actually going to automatically tell me it's field 22. We're not using headland passes this time. And one other thing that I wanted to take care of while we were here, before I start that, I need to find the setting for it. Okay, we've got a working width of 4 meters. That's a wide space, and I think I can shorten that to 2 meters and get even more grapes packed in here. I'm just checking my other settings. See, for some reason it's setting an offset that I don't want. I want this right dead center in the middle. Like so. Okay. So, we go back to course generation. guess it's going to automatically look at field 22. And I am going to generate the course. Okay, well that's outstanding because it does recognize that I have merged these fields now. So course play has me covered. So now all I have to do is go back and I'm going to position this tractor just a little bit better. Give it more opportunity to set up properly before it hits the field. And I'm going to tell it to drive course. And away we go. Okay, very nice indeed. Now, because we know that this takes a long time, I'm going to get a second planter going here. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I have a worker already working. Up on field 27, it needed another application of fertilizer. You can see right here. We will stop this driver and I will come back to that. Now, one thing that I forgot to do, I forgot to save this course. And I want to save this as 22 grapes, so I can use this again in the future. And I can use it to set up the Fiat. And getting back to the Fiat, there we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is load 22 grapes for the Fiat. I want to make sure that the working width on this is also set to 2 meters. And I want to see, there we go. I want to see the course that's laid out on the field. There we go. So now we can see all the lines across the field, just to get a little better idea of where I want to start this person working. And I think, yeah, we'll just start them right here and hope for the best. I'm going to try to line up on this line just as much as I possibly can. And yep, we want to drive the course. Come on. And starting at the nearest waypoint. And now, yep, there they go, straight down this line. Perfect. We've got our saplings going in the ground. Now I want to turn this off because that's going to be obnoxious after a while, isn't it? There it is. Okay, outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? Ischia is just such a beautiful place. Absolutely stunning. Okay, very good. Very, very good. Now I'm going to have to keep track of these guys. If you remember the last time we planted grapes, I really had to keep track of these guys to make sure they didn't run out, because they will keep trying to plant even though they've run out of seed. These aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, if you will, but they are getting it done. Alright, let's look at field 27 real quick. I want to see what my worker missed as far as fertilizer goes. Yeah, there's a few spots here and there, so we will knock those out real quick. We can shut down course play here now. And yeah, this is our alfalfa field, if you will recall. There's that spot right there. I can actually see it for a change, which is a miracle in and of itself. You know how hard it can be to see once a field started growing. It can be really challenging to see where the fertilizer has been spread. But yeah, look at this alfalfa. Isn't that cool? That's a really, really nice crop texture. Great job by the map maker on this one. I'm really interested to see how this grows up. really interested. Yeah, we're gonna have to hit this corner over here a little bit. And yeah, you know Harv tends to be a little overly meticulous about these things. It really wouldn't matter that much, but if you're gonna do a job, do it right. Let's see. Yeah, I can see that spot there too. Interesting. Okay. Perfect. And yeah, we'll need to hit a couple little areas over here. There's one right there. And this corner, I'm sure, needs a lot of coverage. Yeah. It always does. This little tight corner always seems to get missed. Okay. Oh, almost took out that sign. The Van Horns would have been very unhappy with me. Very unhappy indeed. Although, no. They own the cellars up here, but they don't own I don't know why they didn't buy the property around their cellars. But, I don't know. That's their business. Like I said, they don't keep track of agriculture the way a farm manager would, which is why they hired me. Nice thing about grapes coming in, however, it'll get them off my back just a little bit. I mean, they haven't been terrible, anything like that, but they will have their grapes to start working, keep their wine flowing, and keep making a name for themselves. Okay, so let's get to the grapes. Man, I've been looking forward to this. Couldn't wait. First thing I'm going to do is grab one of these little trailers. Now these are specifically designed to work in conjunction with the grape harvesters because they've got a lower profile. And I'll show you what I mean as we go along. And yes, farmer on field 28, I'm borrowing your field again. Okay, here we go. The Braud 9090L New Holland Grape Harvester. We finally get to play with this bad boy. So let's see. We're going to unfold it. Drop it down. Start it up. Did I do it right? No. There we go. There we go. You're supposed to lower it, but it's hard to see. It lowers so minor that it's hard to see exactly when it's been lowered. But look at this bad boy go to town. See what I mean? You almost can't tell when it's operational. Okay. Let's try this again. And look at this bad boy go to town on these grapes. Look at that. Kicking out the leaves and branches. Grabbing up the grapes. Now these are tanks on either side. One on the left, one on the right. Those are going to be filling up with grapes as we harvest. There we go. The great grape harvest has begun. We've got grapes. Ha ha ha. It took long enough. Hopefully we can get grapes in rotation. So we can grape out here. We can grape out over on the other field and do them off and on. In fact, because I'm planting grapes over there today, I'll probably plant this field in another cash crop if these grapes don't regrow. If they regrow, then no, I don't have anything more to do. If they don't regrow, I'm going to have to test that out. I'm not sure. But if they don't regrow, then I will plant this field with a cash crop, bring that in over a couple of days, maybe 3 days, and then I'll replant grapes to get my schedule set so that we've got alternating grape harvests going on. So, with that said, let's see. So this was grapes 26. I'll load that course. And we are going to have this guy take over right here at the nearest waypoint. Very good. Very good indeed. And what that allows me to do now is go grab our second grape harvester. Why? Because this is going to take a bloody long time. That's why we need a second grape harvester working. Just like we need the 2 grape planters working. Very important for the sake of getting this job done and by the end of the day. So let's see, let's go ahead and load this course up. It was grapes 26. And I want to see the course on the field again so I can see really where I want to get started with this person. Okay, I think... Yeah, let's start on this outer edge, and then he'll start working the up and down rows, I think should work out. So, I can go here. Field work. Drive course starting at the nearest waypoint. Hey, that worked out. Outstanding. Everything is outstanding. As it should be. Oh, and I'm going to turn these off now. There we go. Now we can actually see what we're doing. But these little grape harvesters, these are pretty darn slick, I have to say. Interestingly enough, one of the channels that I watch is called Tantum Tech. And I actually saw a real-life version of these in operation on one of their videos the other day. It was pretty darn cool, but they were harvesting olives with it. And yeah, it's pretty neat. If you're into that sort of thing, check out Tantum Tech sometime. They've got a really big following, about almost 300,000. But they are always looking into new and interesting machines and equipment. Some of their episodes are focused on farming. Some of them are, just focused on other types of equipment. But real interesting stuff if you're a geek like me. Okay, let's go check on our planters and see how they're doing. Moving along marvelously. Still have plenty of seed. Oops. I was really concerned that traffic was going to be a problem for them, but it doesn't appear that that's going to be an issue today. And that is very nice indeed. See, these are packed tighter together, and I think they're going to be just fine. Plenty of room there. I could still walk down between the rows. Yeah, there's no problem. Oh, look at that. One of our harvesters needs to be unloaded already. So let's go see what's up with that. Oh, he's right here on the end of this field. So as I was saying, these little Dalcon 140N trailers are designed specifically for these grape harvesters with this low profile. And what you have to do... Oh, look at that big old load of grapes in there. That's outstanding. You swing this trailer in right behind, and then these can tip and dump their grapes right into your trailer. Line up a little bit better than I did. But that's the idea behind it. You just jump in behind there when they've emptied, you can just pull out of the way. And that helper will get right back in the field. What's interesting is they actually pull off the side of the field when they're full and ready to be emptied. So now you can see they only hold about 8,000 liters of grapes at a time. So very nice that that he filled up so quick. We should be getting a good amount of grapes. And I'm just going to go ahead and you can pull these right onto your silo and they will side tip like so. And there we go, 8,000 liters of grapes. Just waiting for us to sell them off. Which in turn reminds me, we should be checking on our prices, shouldn't we? Now, I guess it doesn't matter so much because we have to sell to the seller, because that's the winery that the Van Horns own, and of course they insist that I sell to them above and beyond all else. With that said, of course I'm going to do that because, you know, that's pretty much the contract that I signed. But at the same time, and to be kind of a hassle if the grocery is paying more. And that's part of the financial arrangement here, you know. Okay, so the Van Horns are technically growing grapes on their own farm. This is Van Horn Farms here on Ischia. But, you know, as part of the business structure, they're still going to pay for the grapes. So that money will come back into the farm. And then, of course, they produce their wine, and they sell the wine, hopefully, for a profit. And that's the cellar right up there on the hill, if you can see that. So I was looking a little bit more at Italy. I saw that coming. I knew he was going to need to be unloaded soon. I was looking a little bit more at Italy, and one of the things I started thinking about was movies, because I love movies. Ever since I was a kid, I kind of even, you know, have dreamed of working in Hollywood. That would be like the bucket list, to actually be on a film set kind of thing. I love movies. And I started thinking about movies that were set in Italy. And there are plenty of them. Lots and lots of them. Now, some of them are older. You may not have heard of them. One of them in particular, though, of those older movies is called Roman Holiday. And what's interesting about Roman Holiday, now it's set probably in the 50s, 1950s. And what's interesting about Roman Holiday is not necessarily the movie itself, but the history behind the movie. So this movie was written and made during what's known as the McCarthy era. And if you know anything about Joe McCarthy, he was this big anti-communist senator who had like a whole witch hunt going on. Oh, there's communists hiding in every corner. We've got to weed them out of America and blah, blah, blah. Well, Hollywood is not known for small opinions. And several people were tracked down and listed in Hollywood as communists. And they were put on what's called the blacklist. Because they're communists, they cannot work. Can't work in Hollywood. Well, how does this relate to Roman Holiday? Well, there was a screenwriter by the name of Dalton Trumbo. And Trumbo was blacklisted as a communist. So he couldn't work in Hollywood. So Roman Holiday is this big hit at the time. It goes out, you know, earns lots of money, but it wins a bunch of Oscars. And it also won the Oscar for the best screenplay. Well, what they didn't know was that Roman Holiday was written by Dalton Trumbo, a blacklisted communist screenwriter, under a different name. And it was decades later before he finally got the recognition he deserved for writing that screenplay. But yeah, so a blacklisted Hollywood screenwriter communist won the Academy Award for Best Screenplay. I don't know. It's just an example of how ridiculous people can be when they feed on their paranoia. Anyway, there are some really fun, great movies set in Italy. If you ever watched Gladiator, historically accurate? Nah, not really. But it's an accurate reproduction of the time. Just the story's not going to be considered terribly accurate, but fantastic movie and shows some really amazing scenery in Italy. Now, if you're a James Bond fan, and there are many different types of James Bond fans depending on which Bond you prefer. I personally like the newest one, I can't remember his name right now. It's not Timothy Dalton. But the newest James Bond I like, and Quantum of Solace, one of the more recent James Bond movies, was set in Italy and has some great scenes, especially around Lake Garda, which is a beautiful area. From what I've seen, I've never been. I'm not going to claim that I've ever had the chance, but I'd love to. Around Lake Garda, and I've actually got a subscriber, real knowledgeable guy, love talking to him, by the name of Rusty, who actually spent some time in Lake Garda and recommended it. Said and this is before I knew that the movie Quantum of Solace was set there. But yeah, so he spent time there and thoroughly enjoyed it. Said it's a must see. If you ever go to Italy, you have to go to Lake Garda. So that is definitely on a to-do list for the future. Oh, but yeah, there are lots of movies that show Italy. Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks, if you've ever seen that. That was the sequel to a movie I can't think of the name of now. The Da Vinci Code. Wow. See, I'm showing my age because, I just lose bits of information for anywhere from 5 seconds to 5 minutes to 5 hours. But yeah, Angels and Demons. Pretty darn good movie. Not as good as the Da Vinci Code, but it was still good. Okay, well, I am going to keep working these grapes, checking on my grape planters from time to time. And I'm not sure. We might just cut to the grand finale, the sell-off of the grapes. Or maybe I will time-lapse the heck out of this. But look at those grape planters go up and down those rows. Or those grape harvesters. That is outstanding. Really interesting to find out exactly how many grapes come off this field. We'll find out in just a little bit. Then. And the first grape harvest is complete. I just took over this grape harvester just to clean up a few spots that got missed. I got over 400 liters of grapes that were left on the field. That's almost $1,000 that would have just been left behind. So we can't have that now, can we? Oh yeah, there we go. Pipe out. And man, do these things get filthy. Look at that. Just packed with dirt and lime. Okay. I already pulled one grape harvester off the field a little bit earlier. They both came in close. Came in close to each other. This one just had a few more passes to do, so I figured it was best just to take them off the field, get these repaired up and put away, cleaned up. God knows they're going to need it. And let's check on our planter seeders. Well, this one's been empty for quite some time. So, stop. Get out of the way. Now hopefully the Deutzfahr here has just enough left in it to finish up that last little patch. And we're going to stop this driver. That looks about right, don't you think? Drive course at the nearest waypoint. I don't think I'm going to buy a whole other pallet if this tractor doesn't have quite enough. So we'll just leave this spot open. We'll see. I don't think... No, I don't want to say. Maybe. Come on, Harv. Let's go find out how much money we're going to make off these grapes. Let's find out how many grapes we have. That's what I'm really interested in. We started this process about 9 o'clock this morning. And, well, it's almost 4 o'clock now, so 7 hours to get these grapes harvested. Last little bit going into the silo. Come on, baby. There we go. 116,624 liters of grapes. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now we get to go sell them off. And I left my trailer down here because I was intending to harvest some canola. But that's not happening today, at least probably not for this episode. Probably not for this episode at all. Now, if you hadn't noticed, we were pretty short on money coming into today. Down to 13 grand. Like I said, I worked on the new field, oh gosh, well into the night to get it all prepped up and ready to get those red grapes in. That was a priority. So I have not had an opportunity to work for any of the locals as much as the Van Horns would like me to. So we get to haul these grapes up to the cellar and find out how much they're going to pay me. Not the fastest loading silo I ever experienced, but it'll do. We'll make it work. Yep. I guess I'll try to be nice and not cut across this farmer's field. Can't help but take in the splendor of the Italian countryside here on Ischia. Oh, that reminds me. So we're talking about movies. How could I forget one of the most classic, greatest movies of all time, The Godfather? It was specifically set in Italy, or in Sicily. Godfather and Godfather Part 2, both of them. Two of the greatest movies ever made, in my incredibly humble opinion. Okay, here we go. Not the most scenic parts of Italy, I should say, but incredibly rustic and agriculturally significant. I especially liked, there we go, almost $113,000. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. I especially like the parts with, in Godfather Part 2 with Robert De Niro. Very young Robert De Niro, I might add. When he was growing up in Sicily, and then when he became an adult, went back to Sicily. And as I've said before, never go against death. Wait, never never go against a Sicilian when death is on the line. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I think grapes are going to be pretty darn lucrative. What do you think? That reminds me too, you know, we're talking about movies set in Rome or in Italy, and I was kind of curious, if you were to go to Italy, what would you want to see? Because remember I was telling you earlier about Rusty and Lake Garda. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that, but it's Garda. But if you were to go to Italy, what is your must-see? What would you have to see? I think I'd have to see the Colosseum. That would be fantastic. The Roman Senate. But there's just, I mean, I honestly think, based on what I've been seeing, you could live in Italy probably for 10 years. Doing nothing but sightseeing, and you'd never run out of stuff to do. I don't think you would ever run out of things to see. It's just loaded with so much history. Yeah, well, that's unloading. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a cup down there. If I wasn't driving, I think I'd have to tap one of these kegs. Don't tell the Van Horns, though. Yeah, pretty slick. There we go, another 113,000. Yeah, we were broke at the beginning of the day. Not no mo. Although by the end of the day we might be broke again. We are gonna see. No, I don't think so. I don't quite think so. I am curious about the leftover grapevines, though. If I had to guess, I'd say they're probably not going to regrow. I think that would be pretty powerful. But if they do, so much the better. Again, I'm going to have to test that out. I'm going to have to test that out and enunciate better. One last load. Let's check on our Deutz-Fahr. Oh, he's empty, but I don't know, it's hard to tell. No sense in paying this driver for doing nothing. Well, we've got rows. Very good. Let's take a look. We can tell on the map just by looking at our field here. Oh yeah, everything got planted. No problem. We are rocking and rolling with the red grapes down there. Outstanding. Okay, one final grape sale coming up. I'm not entirely sure that this route is the best, but it's the shortest. I got to think about fueling up this tractor at some point too. It's starting to get low. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Van Horn. Here come your grapes, the last of them. About 116,000 liters, something like that. I don't know what that translates to in wine, but I'm sure it's good, and I hope they're using, because there's a lot of byproducts that you can make from the leftover, because you take the juice to make the wine, but then everything else you can do otherwise with a lot of different stuff. In fact, if I remember right, yeast. All right, another 87, almost 88,000. So we made well over $300,000 off of our grapes today. About 310 after paying our workers. Yeah, we made about $311,000 off of grapes. That is outstanding. But as I was saying, yeast, you know the stuff people make bread with? Well, they also use yeast to make alcohol. And yeast was discovered because it grows on the skin of, or it naturally grows on the skin of grapes. Which, of course, is what is turning that grape juice into wine. Okay, the first grape harvest is complete. Finally, it took so long to get here. Well, it's going to be a bit more measured the next time. as we'll be alternating fields, red grapes and white grapes. Now for the day, all I have left to do is harvest this canola field. But I think that's going to do it for this episode of Ischia Farm. I do appreciate you coming along for the ride. If you enjoy Harv's World and Harv's World content, you can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and drop in by Discord sometime. Leave me a comment down below. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor. Remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. I really appreciate you all coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.